In this part, we will try and learn something about the tradition called Nyāya. This is generally paired with another tradition called Vaisheshika. We will see why that is the case, what are the common features between these two schools. The reason why these two are paired is that they try to analyze the world that an individual experiences, whether it is perceptual experience or non-perceptual experience. So, both of them share the assumption that whatever somebody gets, if I am a cognizer or an experiencer, whatever I obtain via uncontradicted experience, it must be necessarily real. There are certain other traditions which believe that no, what we see may not be real or what we perceive may not be real. Whereas the Naiyayikas believe that until we have some other experience or cognition which contradicts our existing cognition, we must believe that what we knew earlier, what we cognized earlier must be real. Whereas the Nyāya focuses on the various ways of knowing reality, Vaisheshika focuses on the objects of reality which are knowable. In every episode of cognition, there is an agent, which is me, who is trying to cognize this stand, let us say, and there is a means by which I am cognizing this object. For example, in the current case, the means by which I am cognizing this stand is perception. So, what the Nyāya tries to do is that it tries to understand the nature of this means. So, perception is one means, inference is another means, I can know something via hearing from somebody, that is another means. So, Nyāya focuses on the means by which one knows something. On the other hand, the Vaisheshika focuses on what can be known. So, in every episode of cognition, there is a means of knowing and there is an object which is known. So, the Vaisheshika tries to understand what are all the objects which can be known, what are the various types of objects in reality which can be known. And according to them, the right knowledge of these two things, the means of knowing as well as the what can be known, the right knowledge of this leads to liberation. Please remember that all of these Vedic schools, or in fact all of the darshanas, share the common goal that we want to get liberation or we want to get ultimate happiness. The Nyāya and the Vaisheshika says that the route to ultimate happiness is to know rightly what are the means of knowing and what are the objects which can be known. So, the Nyāya Darshana historically is the founding figure, let us say, is recognized as Gautama Rishi. In his Nyāya Sutra, he set out the key tenets of the Nyāya Darshana. Somewhere around 14th century or so, it took another turn, focusing more on the pramanas or the means of knowing under one scholar called Gangeshopadhyaya. Since then, it has been called the Navya Nyāya or the new Nyāya, Navya Nyāya turn it is called. And the unique contributions of the Nyāya school is that it gives a very detailed inquiry into knowledge. What is knowledge? What are the various means in which one can have knowledge? How is knowledge or right cognition different from false cognition or things like dream, etc., or doubt? What are the different distinctions between the two? It also gives what are the means in which one can know this, what are the various means in which one can cognize an object. It also sets out a very systematic way of thinking so that we can arrive at true conclusions. So, this systematic way of thinking was borrowed by other traditions also. When we discuss the knowledge framework in chapter 7, I am sure you will be introduced much more to the systematic way in which the Nyāya set out in order to come from a hypothesis to a conclusion. They also set out commonly for everybody the art of debating or various rules that were there for debating. They set out, see, this is how the argument must go. These are all the various conditions under which the argument can be said to be lost. These are all the various things that one should avoid in one kind of an argument. These are the kinds of things that one can accept in kind of an argument, and these became the de facto standards which were accepted by almost everyone. And the methodology or the pramanas that they conceptualized, other traditions also worked. They accepted it or they did not accept it, that was left to their individual theory, but all of them centered around these various epistemic concepts. But understand that all of this is not happening just for satisfying somebody's intellectual curiosity. It is to have that final goal called liberation, and Nyāya defines liberation as cessation of all pain. They do not recognize it as a positive state in which there is lot of infinite happiness, etc., but at least there is no pain. So, they have a negative conception of what liberation is. It is a state in which there is not even an iota of suffering. Whether there is bliss or not, that is a different thing, but at least suffering is not there. they also accept Ishvara. They accept Ishvara as the creator of the world, but they don't accept that this Ishvara created the world out of nothing. No, there were already some atoms which they call Paramanu, which are infinite and eternal, and out of this Paramanu the God created, or Ishvara created this world. Just like the potter creates the pot out of clay, the potter does not make clay, the potter makes only the pot. So, in the same way, the material cause of the world is the Paramanu, the efficient cause of the world is Ishvara. They also recognize another very important role for Ishvara. Ishvara is recognized as the author of the Veda. The reason why the Veda is infallible, we cannot doubt the Veda, is because it is the word of God. It has been authored by Ishvara. And another important role that Ishvara does is that Ishvara directs the adrishta, or the papa punya karma that we accumulate. Based on that, what sort of life should we take next, etc., is decided by Ishvara. So, these are all the various roles that Ishvara plays. Ishvara creates the world out of Paramanu, also the author of the Veda, and also directs our karma phala or adrishta.